Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Pinecone Coder. So today, on this tutorial, we're going to be talking about getting more into HTML, looking at more stuff that we haven't looked at before, and doing all kinds of that stuff. So that should be fun. All right, so if you've got your web design folder, let's just open that up and pull it open in a text editor so we can edit it. And I'm going to show you a couple things that we didn't cover in our last tutorial that are also pretty important. So we have up here that we're starting an HTML tag, but we want to add something in the beginning that actually we need to tell the browser that it's looking at HTML and not a different language. Like we need to tell it this is HTML. And the way we can do that is we use this little tag right here. We go exclamation point and then we go doc type and then HTML. Then we just close that. And that's it. That's all you need to tell the browser just to make sure. It usually will work without it, but it's a good practice just to have it always on there just in case. So after we've added that, I'm going to show you a couple more things. So if we save this and we look at it in the browser right now, we've got our h1 tag, our h6 tag, and a paragraph tag. But let's add a list. So if you've never seen a list before, it would be like a list of things to do. So there are two types of lists. There are unordered lists, and we use a UL tag for that. And then you just want to go down a little bit and close that UL tag. And then in the middle, you can put LI tags for list item and close that. And another list item, closing that. And where you would put your text of whatever you want to be in the list is going to be right here. So item 1. And this is going to be an unordered list. So what it means is that it's unordered, so there isn't any number. Like if you've seen the lists that are like A, B, C, that's not what this is going to be. Let's look at how to do an ordered list. So that would be OL for ordered list. So let's put that in a tag. Let's make some LI tags and let's say item 1. Close that. Make another item 2. And let's close that OL tag. Okay. Now if we look at this in the browser, you can actually see. So here's our unordered list, and it's just got little dots just for anything where there isn't a specific number of steps. And then we have our ordered list where it would be like 1, 2, and if you added more, it would be 3, 4, 5, 6. You could just keep going all the way down. You can also change it to show up in like Roman numerals or letters or however you want. You can do that with CSS, and we'll be doing that later. So, and if you want to add another item, you can just keep making more LI tags. And they'll just keep showing up. Okay, now let's take a look at images. So what if we want an image? What if we want an image on our site? Images will really help make your site look a lot more professional. So let's go ahead and add one. So how we do it is with the image tag, img, and then we put our source. So just type this in for a minute and I'll explain what it's doing. So we have in HTML what are called tags, and that would be this part. So here's a tag, here's a tag, here's a tag. And those tags can have attributes that are kind of like options or details of the tag. So this src is an attribute of the image tag, and that is going to be the link to the image that we want to display. So first of all, we do need to get an image. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And I just want to talk for 1 second about when you're getting images, you need to make sure that you have permission to use those images and that there isn't a license required. Otherwise, you can get into a lot of legal trouble if you put an image on your site that you don't have permission to use. So let's open a browser, and I have some sites here. Let me just copy this. Here's an example of what a free, so if these avatars right here and icons, if you see something like this where it says it's free for commercial use, that means it's okay. You don't need to license, you don't need to pay for this to use it. It's just free. Here's everything you can do, but you cannot sell this, of course, because you didn't make it. But so you could just come here and like, okay, let's grab this guy. Let's download him. And downloaded. Okay. Now let's just show him in Finder. And I'll put him on the desktop right there. So we got an image now. I'm going to rename him to just Avatar1, maybe, just to keep it simpler in our code. An example of a site that you cannot, if you want to see somewhere what an image you should not be using without, let me show you something right here. Just grab a link. Okay, this link right here. If we go to this site and we're like, hey, these pictures are really good, I want these on my site. If you notice, when you go to download, it says it's free for personal and commercial use with attribution. So what that means is when you go to download it, I'm not logged in right now, but basically you need to attribute and say that you got, so here's what, you need to say that you got it from this site. You didn't create it yourself. So you need to be like, hey, you put this little thing in your code that will pop up a little box and be like, hey, I didn't make this, I got it from this site. So some of them will require attribution, but there are a lot that don't. So, and I'm going to show you one more site. There's another really cool site. It's called Unsplash. You might have already heard of it, but there are tons of free images that people put on here that are free to use without attribution or anything, and they are really great. So if you ever need an image, and the photography on them is really good. So that's a great resource to keep in mind when you're getting images for your sites. All right, so we've got our avatar image. And what we're going to do is in our web design folder, let's just create a new folder called images. And inside of that, we are going to put that picture in there. Okay, so it's in there now. And then what we do in here in our source, we're kind of linking to that. So we're telling it, our browser, how to get to this picture. Now our index.html file is in this web design folder. It's right here. So we need to tell the computer how to get into this folder and get our image. And the way we do that is we can say images folder / avatar1.png. And we just need to add one more thing and add one more attribute in here that's called alt. And what that does is basically if the image is broken and won't show up for some reason, this is alternative text that will replace the image. If you've ever seen like a broken image and there's words there that kind of like describe what the image was, this is what it is. So I'll just put like an avatar or something. And this won't show up unless the image is broken. So now if we save this and let's view it, there it is right there. Now obviously that is way bigger than we want. So we will be sizing things more later with CSS, but just as a temporary, and I'll go into this a lot more later, but we can add another attribute here, width equals, and we could put in like 100 pixels, and we could go height of our image is 100 pixels, and things are measured in pixels in web design. So you can kind of just learn how big a pixel is. And now you can see that's much smaller. That is a 100 pixel size right there. We could have done 200 pixels, whatever. I know that the original image is a 512 pixel height and width image. So that's what it was, and now this is sized down to 100. So that is how we put an image in our site right there. And make sure you use the correct attribution. If it's required, you could put that right under here and be like, this icon was made by this site, whatever they want you to do. So make sure you check on that if you are using an image that you just got. Okay, let's look at formatting some text. So what I mean by that is, let's make our paragraph a little bigger. Let's type something. This is a paragraph. This is an even longer paragraph. There we go. So now we have a few tags here, and I'm going to make a little comment right here just to show what they are. So I'm just going to comment out an area right here. And whoops. So we have a few tags here that we can use to change the look of our text. So we have the B tag, and that is bolds text. So it makes it into a bold font style. We have the strong tag. Whoops, not string. Strong. And what that does is this is for important text, where we just want to kind of show it's similar to bold, but it's a little different, where it's just like we want to mark this important. And remember, later in CSS, we can go in and say strong. Let's change the entire look of strong. So these are just tags that you are going to put in your text right now, but we can change everything later. There's italic, and that's just I tag. That means whatever is in the tag is going to be italicized. There is emphasis, so EM, and that is to put on something that we want to show emphasis on. There is, there's subscript. So SUB. This means subscript text. So if you've ever seen subscript text or superscript, sorry. I'll show you in a minute what that means. Text, and there's also I think. Supertext. Superscript, sorry. Going crazy today. Superscript. So if we superscripted a text, let's take a look at our paragraph right here. Let's bold this P tag, so this paragraph word. So if we just put a B tag around that, just like that, and we save that and view it, you can now see that is bolded right there. So there's the bold tag. I'm not going to show all of these, but you can practice on your own. Let's take longer and make that italicized. Just like that, and open that up. And there it is. It's changed right there. And let's make some superscript and subscript. So this is a superscript letter. And we'll just put, I don't know, A. And we'll superscript that. And now let's go down a little and put, this is a subscript letter. There we go. And let's put an A there. Okay, now to make this superscript, we need to put this superscript tag around it like that. And to make this subscript, we need to put the subscript tag around it, just like that. And let's take a look at that in the browser. And there we go. You can now see, so the superscript is above the line, just kind of like that if you've ever seen in math, like if you were going to take something to the power of 2 or something, you could, this is how you would do that. And then there's the subscript below. So like in chemistry and stuff. All right, so that's how you do that. Let's look at a couple more tags. So there's an abbreviation tag. And what that does is, so what we could do is we could say, I don't know, welcome to, I live in the United States, so the US. Now, what if someone's not in the US? They're going to be like, what's the US? If they haven't heard of it. What we can do is, since that's an abbreviation, we can put an abbreviation tag on it. And just close that right there. And what we can do inside that, we can add an attribute, a title. And we can add the full name there. United States of America. Add that in there. And I think that's it. So now if we view that, refresh this, it's right there. And on some browsers, if they hover over, and I wonder if it is going to do it. Yeah, right there. You can see if I hover over it, will show me the whole name. On some browsers, it'll be a lot more apparent. It will have like an underline or something showing, making it look more like an abbreviation. This is in Safari, and you can see it just, if you hover for a second, it will show you the full name. So that's what an abbreviation does. A couple more tags. If we want to quote something, like in a quote from a site, what we can do is we can use the block quote tag for that. So it just looks like this, and we could just put our block quote text in it. This is block quote text. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some filler text in here, just so that we can get the idea of what it does. I'm just going to copy and paste that a bunch of times. Whoops. Put the link. Gotta copy that. And paste it. So I'm just putting this in here to make this bigger, so we can actually see what a block text does. It indents this to make it more like a quote. As you can see, this is kind of pushed over on the side, and it would be pushed over sometimes. And you can change all this what this does later, but you will want to, like, when you're building your website from scratch, if it's a quote, put it in a block quote. It's not for single quote. If you've got, this is for obviously like a block of text, not like a single line of quoted text. There's another tag for that, and we'll go into that more later. And that's all I'm going to show you today, but I will have another video on links coming up soon. So make sure you check out that. And I want to show you one more resource before you head off. And what it is it's, you may have already heard of it, but it's called W3 Schools. And this is like the best site. If you're ever forgot something, you can't remember how to do something, come here, and it's a super good reference. So they have an HTML type of course thing on here, which is all, you would read it. But if you ever forgot any of these things, how to do them on here, or if it's something we haven't even covered yet, you can come here and be like, hey, how do I put in emojis in my HTML? And there you go. There's how you do it. You would set them at a char set, and then you use this right here with the UTF-8, which is, I haven't covered that at all yet, so you don't need to worry about that. But let's look at something. Maybe you want to do lists like we just covered. Right there. There they are. So here's the unordered list. Here's the ordered list. There they are right there. Maybe you want to do quotations. So look up how to do that one-line quote that we haven't talked about yet. So here's the block quote. And here's like an example of it indented. But if we go down, I think they've got, yes, the Q tag is for the short quotation. And what you can actually do is if you click this try it for yourself button, it'll pop open a new thing and you can actually change stuff in here. Like I could make this bold. You can actually practice right on their site, which is really cool. So you can see the changes will change right there. So that's really great. And not just HTML, if you are into programming, all that kind of stuff, they've got stuff on here and a lot of other cool stuff. So you can just scroll through and look at their stuff. It's really great. They also have exercises, so if you want to practice some right here, you can practice on all these exercises and see if you know how to do them all. So you can see like, oh, put it in it's this many pixels wide and this many pixels tall, fill it in and see if you can get it right, which we talked about that, so you should be able to. So that's just a really great resource to keep in mind. I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did and you would like to see more content like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I will be making more videos in the future. Thank you.